and I'm back with another build video, and this time we are going to be doing another frozen castle, but it's not Elsa's frozen castle, it's actually going to be the ice palace from the Chronicles of Narnia, so it's slightly different. But if you want to see Elsa's frozen castle, then I have done that one as well, but that was ages ago, and I actually think this one's better. I really like it, so I'm excited to share it. And the Chronicles of Narnia was one of those books that I did read as a child. It was my mum that read a lot of it to me though, because I didn't concentrate that well when I was younger. I still don't, but I did read that book, because that was one of the few books that I've ever read, and I really enjoyed it. I got really invested into the characters and the storyline, and one of my favourite characters was the Ice Witch, so that's who we're building this palace for. And I remember about the Ice Witch that she was very manipulative, and she just manipulated, I think it was Edmund, his name. He was one of the children in the book, and she manipulated him into being away from his siblings and going with her to this ice palace, spending his time there and eating something called Turkish Delight, which I tried years later and I didn't like it at first, but I do actually quite like it now. It's okay. So anyway though, I went to go see it in the movies with my mum and my sister. I think so, 3 of us went, and it was the strangest experience because I was really excited for the film to come out. It's really exciting, you know, if you read something and then you find out that the movie comes out or it's coming out and, you know, you want to go see it. So yeah, I was excited for it, but I hadn't seen any of the artwork, any posters or anything prior to going. And I was very surprised because I sat down, I was waiting for the Ice Witch to come on, and when she did, my face just dropped because I realised that she had almost the same face as my headmistress at school. So this is just completely unrelated, but it was the strangest experience ever because, I don't know, I was expecting her to look entirely different than she did, and I couldn't just forget about it. I couldn't forget the person that they cast because I was convinced that that was my headmistress. So yeah, it was a really odd experience, but also quite funny, I guess, looking back, but it did scar me a bit as a child. But the reason why I didn't like my headmistress was because she was really strange. So I went to an all-girls school when I was younger, for those of you that don't know, and it was a very strange school. It was the strangest school I could explain to anybody, but she gave special treatment to a lot of people at the school, and she was also quite harsh to people. And I think over the years of just seeing how she was and stuff, people started to pick up on the fact that she was particularly nasty to the people that she felt had nicer things, like nice cars, a nice house, etc. And it was so odd because it became really obvious. She was very good friends with this one family, and she gave him a lot of special treatment. And what happened was the girl won an award at some point, and she won this award for a picture or something, and everyone was really happy for her. I think the family bought a new car, and then she came into school in the new car, and instantly the headmistress was just she doesn't deserve this award anymore. We need to give it to somebody that deserves it more than her. So this starts to happen more and more. But anyway, she ended up leaving for reasons that nobody will ever know, but I'm pretty convinced that she did something to upset someone that led to her leaving, led to her having to leave, because she even left the area sort of thing. So before she left though, something really weird happened with a girl in my class. So this girl was from a really good family, and it was quite obvious that, you know, they had a nice house, and she was never a brag or anything. I mean, we were really young when it happened. She was probably 8 years old, really young kid. And I don't want to say really young because there might be 8-year-olds watching this, but it was really strange because she came into school and she had an egg in her pocket, and this was a full egg, okay? This is just a normal, random, free-range egg, I guess, that you would find at any supermarket. No one knows why she had it in a pocket, but she did. Anyway, she had it in a blazer pocket, and for some unknown reason, the headmistress found out about it, and she went crazy. She went crazy about an egg. It was the stupidest thing ever. So she ends up pushing this girl, physically pushing her out of the class, and she dragged her by her blazer into the headmistress's office and was interrogating her about an egg. That's how bad it got. So anyway, the mum came in of the child, and the child actually ended up leaving the school, I think a couple of months later, but so did the headmistress. So it's really odd, and I'll never find an explanation, but I really want to know what happened because that was just the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, so Really strange. Headmistress's story. I never had any experiences with her personally. I think maybe my mum or like my dad had maybe like 1 or 2 run-ins with her, with like my sister or something. I don't know, but I'll have to ask. But yeah, it was just a well-known fact that no one really liked her. So sad, really. Maybe she was a bit like the Ice Witch though, because I don't think that anyone liked her either. So I was putting around these little ice parts to it. I found a very modern object that we got from The Sims 4 City Living. So I used that multiple times. And by the end of this build, you'll see those like bluish sculptures or the bluish ice disappear, and we will only have that futuristic sculpture all over the build. But it looks really good by the time it's finished. I just needed to test out other things to make sure that I was happy with that. But anyway, so there really isn't much else I can say apart from that. So I'm going to talk about what happened to me the other day, because I've done this audio twice. I did the last part. I've had to redo the last part because it was outdated. I was talking about the game pack that's about to come out, and I was talking about my theory about it, etc. So I've had to redo some of it. Okay, anyway, the other day I got a knock at the door, and I don't usually get knocks at my door, apart from when someone's confused about where to deliver post to, because we don't even have like a number on our house at the moment or anything. So we tend to get post from just all the other numbers in the area, just because we are that post box that if they're not sure where to put it, they just put it in ours and hope that we'll give it to other people. So it was about 8 o'clock, maybe even 9 o'clock. It was pretty late to knock on someone's door. And the door starts ringing. We weren't sure who it was. Unfortunately, we don't have a light outside either, so we couldn't even see. I do have a spy hole, but the problem is, because it's a glass door, you can see when I'm looking through the spy hole looking at someone else. So it's never a good idea to look through the spy hole, because the only person it's benefiting is the person outside, because then they know someone's in. So anyway, I answered the door and it turned out to be this fruit company, and they basically deliver fruit and veg to your house. Now, this is not a sponsored video, let me just tell you. And it's quite ironic, seeing as what I'm going to talk about. Now, the thing is, okay, it was an unboxing service, and you basically unbox the boxes. They give you one like every week or so. And okay, anyway, I've done unboxings on the channel before. I've done like 1 unboxing on the channel, okay, but it still counts. And I get various emails every single week for unboxing companies. And people want me to try products, companies ask to sponsor me, etc. And I hardly ever say yes, because it's very rare that I find something that I want to advertise on the channel that I'm happy with. So yeah, I mean, I hardly ever do. I really hardly ever do. You will hardly ever find sponsorships from me unless I 100% believe in that product. So anyway, I was quite pleasantly surprised, because I like the idea of healthy eating, and I've been trying since New Year to stay healthy and go to the gym, etc. And I've been doing really well with it, actually. I thought it would be good for the channel and it would be interesting to do a different type of unboxing, like fruit and veg, and maybe they'd be up for it. Like maybe they could put me in touch with someone that would be able to help me with that. So I asked about it and they were really excited. Now, bear in mind, I don't usually tell people about my channel, and the reason is to protect myself, to protect the channel, because the problem is, if someone's knocking on my door and I start telling them that I've got a YouTube channel, they start talking to their friends and then they say, oh, you never guessed who we spoke to. Do you watch the Sims videos, or do you know anyone that likes the Sims? And then it escalates where I've got people knocking at my door. No, that is just, okay, that is one of my worst nightmares. People finding out where I live, because the problem is 99% of people are lovely, but there's always that 1% that you're never going to be too sure about. So yeah, imagine if like a hater knocked on your door or something. I mean, what would happen in that situation? I have no idea. I've met a hater, but that is a different story completely. If you want to hear that story, then let me know, because it's quite awkward. Anyway, it got really weird because they were standing at my door, and of course I asked about the fact that if the company does unboxings with YouTubers, etc. And they said yes, they do, and they would be definitely happy to do that, etc, etc. So then the woman turns round and she says, my legs are getting tired. Can I come and sit on your sofa, please? And okay, my honest feeling at this point was, who is this woman? Why has she just knocked on my door and why is she asking to come and sit on my sofa? That is the weirdest thing ever. But being me, being vulnerable, gullible me, I just let this woman into my house. So she was there with her board, with like fruit and veg. She's now in my house. It's going to be very difficult to get rid of this woman. And I didn't realise at this point. So now I have two strangers in my house because there's the woman and then she brought like a man along who didn't say anything. He added nothing. She may as well have literally just like dug up the tree from her garden, put it in a pot and stood next to it, like right next to my door. This guy added nothing. At least a tree would add a bit of scenery sort of thing. So anyway, not being nasty, but hey, my true colours are showing. This woman sat on my sofa and she's going through my details with me and she's trying to like call the community manager, etc. And she's like, oh, he's not picking up. So I made it very clear that I was really interested in the company for a partnership opportunity, but I wasn't interested in signing like a year's contract with them, etc. So she starts putting my details in. And at this point, I should have seen what was happening. This woman was putting in my details because she didn't care. She didn't care about partnership. She didn't care about what I had to say. She wanted me to buy boxes and she was pushy. She was one of the pushiest people I've came across in my life. And she sat in my house on my sofa. So anyway, this went on and just like this story does, she ends up saying to me after about an hour of her being in my house, and I'm trying to get her out, I'm trying to get this community manager's number because I'm just like, look, I want to go to bed. Like my husband's upstairs. I don't want to spend too long downstairs with two randomers in my house. That's just what I don't like to do. So anyway, she receives a phone call and I assume that it's from the community manager. So she says, oh, this is for you. So she gives me the phone and it's this man and he's there to take my payment details. And I just explained, look, I'm interested in a partnership perspective. I get unboxings on the channel. It would be really good. So after she realizes that I'm not going to be signing anything before speaking to a community manager first, she starts to get really nasty with me. Now bear in mind, she's in my house. My husband's upstairs. He knows that there are people downstairs from a fruit company talking to me, whatever. He doesn't really get involved because he's upstairs. My dogs are there. And she starts raising her voice at me. The normal approach, though, is if you want to sell something and someone doesn't want it, surely at that point you would just walk out and you would say, okay, well, thanks very much. Here's a number if you want it. I can put you in touch with someone, etc., etc. But no. She continues to sit on my sofa and she turned to me and she got in my face. And she said to me, so you're not interested in buying a box then? I just looked at her and said, no, I'm interested in speaking to the community manager, as I told you, like when you first got here. So she doesn't leave, like even after that, she doesn't get up, she doesn't do anything. And I'm still saying to her at this point, it's getting late. I'm probably going to have to go to bed at this point because I've got to be up early. She's still sat on my sofa and there's this random tree, I'm going to call him the tree. He was just like standing in the corner of my lounge, just glaring at me. So anyway, I felt threatened in my own home at this point because I didn't want these people to come in. I don't like having random people in my house, but the fact that she asked to come sit down because her legs were tired. Okay, I made a big mistake. I should not have let her in my house. What was I thinking? So now she starts getting aggressive. At that point, I just decided it would be easier and I'd probably be able to keep all my teeth intact if I'd have just signed for this stupid box. So, okay, cut a long story short, I signed for these ridiculous boxes. They're actually quite good though. I'm not gonna lie, the boxes are pretty good. I've had a delivery already and they're good. But it was just the way that she came across. Like, I don't want random people in my house. And also, when she came in, she didn't just come in. She got involved with my dogs as well. And she was clinging to my dogs. Like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're so cute. And I get people like dogs, but I just feel like if you're trying to sell someone something, it's really pushy to come into their house and then start fussing their animals. So their animals then get used to you. So I didn't like her. I think that I needed to tell it because it's one of those things. It would have driven me insane if I hadn't have told it on a video. So there you have it. That's what happened to me last week. Anyway though, that is the end of the build. So I'm pretty happy that I did speak through that because it was really just placing a load of items. I mean, there really wasn't much that I could go over. But I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you all for part 2. Hopefully we'll have a lot more to talk about. Thanks so much for watching and I'll speak to you all soon.